They flipped the switch, hitting that circuit breaker off. I wish that we were talking about XRP, them flipping the switch, some large institutions bringing a whole lot of liquidity into the XRP ledger. I wish that's what we were talking about. And we are going to talk about XRP later in this update. But in this regard, the context of them flipping the switch is them shutting it down, turning that circuit breaker off when it comes to the stock market. Once again, with the GameStop Roaring Kitty saga continuing on. Let's take a look at GameStop here to get started off here, folks. This is the daily chart. And as you can see, the big time moves coming in here once again, just like we got back on May 14th when it got pumped up all the way to 65 bucks. Major sell-off back into the 20s. And then we see here once again that the positions were disclosed by Roaring Kitty, about $200 million in a position, some of it holding shares, and then a large portion of it was in call options on GameStop as well. And so in overnight trading, the overnight markets on Robinhood, they actually had to halt it once again because it had risen all the way up from basically 20 bucks all the way up to 40 bucks. 100% pump in overnight markets. And then the markets opened up here today and we come crashing back down. Now, what happened here is multiple New York Stock Exchange stocks have now been halted on volatility due to a technical issue. And once again, those funny coincidence, right? Those technical issues appearing once again. Funny how this one works out. Berkshire Hathaway stock is currently down 99.97%. And so there was multiple stocks that just crashed almost to zero, down like 99%. And so they had to turn it off. They had to halt it. And they didn't actually shut down the entire market, but they had to halt particular stocks. And basically the whole stock market is just being exposed right now through this whole saga, right? For me, I don't own any GameStop. I'm not in this community, but I respect it. I respect what they are doing right now by exposing the naked shorts. I've talked about it on this show many, many times about how we can't even track how big the derivatives market is because there's shadow off-balance sheet derivatives and swaps and markets where this isn't even being tracked. What we have on the record, what can be tracked, is hundreds of trillions of dollars worth of derivatives. And we've shown how even the largest central banks around the world are literally holding trillions of dollars worth of losses. Central banks around the world posting recognized losses as well. So the banks and the big institutions are struggling, but it's just such a funny coincidence that we continue to see the market, the stock market, break, get shut down. They hit that circuit breaker, flip the switch off when it's convenient. And we've seen this multiple times now. January 28, 2021, brokers halt buy orders on GameStop after meme stock rally begins. And this is when basically they stop folks from being able to buy. And this goes all the way back to Citadel. And this is where the whole movie came out, Dumb Money, kind of exposing that whole situation, right? And then on May 14, 2024, GameStop and AMC halted a total of 38 times in one day as rally accelerates. Now, that was back on the chart. Remember, that was back on this day right here where they had to halt it 38 times between GameStop and AMC back on that day. For AMC, it went all the way up to about 12 bucks. Incredible. Now, on June 2nd, 2024, this is yesterday, Robinhood suspends overnight trading in GameStop due to volatility. And then today, the New York Stock Exchange sees multiple 100 billion plus stocks fall, and that's market cap, right? Stocks with market caps over 100 billion fall 99% due to technical glitch. Is this a coincidence or is this stock market getting exposed? You guys let me know in the comments down below how you think this story ends. Now, what I find so funny and convenient as well, too, is at this very same time, Bloomberg is now running, this is the main front page headline, running an article here saying that short sellers are in danger of extinction after crushing stock gains. So basically, they're now trying to hop on the bandwagon here and say that the short sellers are getting wrecked of the broader stock market. Well, no. The broader stock market and the S&P 500 is overvalued. A lot of the valuations there cannot be justified. Now, is the valuation of GameStop justified? I'm not getting into that. What they're doing there is they're exposing the naked shorts. What folks are doing by shorting the broader stock and equity market, I would call bringing the market back into balance. That's what that is. Shorting stocks and shorting cryptocurrency is a healthy instrument for bringing balance to the markets. I've made most of my money trading has been through shorting Bitcoin, and I've shown you guys how I've done that over the last couple years with great success. Shorting is a fantastic tool and instrument for balancing out the markets. And so I just find it hilarious that Bloomberg has to hop on here and take this opportunity to run this article right here. Short sellers in danger of extinction after crushing stock gains. And a lot of the shorts have gotten wrecked. I mean, in that article, they note how some of the largest fund managers whose main model and strategy was shorting, how they got wrecked. And you definitely can, especially when you're using leverage, right? I was able to make my money clean. I was trading on KuCoin. I transferred all my gains, my tether over into XRP, and I got my XRP off the platform. And that was when KuCoin discovered that I was in the United States of America in a state that they don't like to service. So thankfully, I was able to take my money and run out of the casino, but not everybody's that lucky. And now there's reports coming out from E-Trade this just today that they may potentially ban Roaring Kitty from trading on their platform because he's disclosing his trades publicly, and they're talking about manipulation and all this concern. See, nobody wants to talk about the insider trading of Nancy Pelosi and other politicians on both sides of the aisle, by the way, Republicans and Democrats, trading against the American people and our markets. Nobody wants to talk about that manipulation, but God forbid some random guy named Keith Gill is out here making some moves and getting some a community behind him. You know, a community of people that want to call out the crap that we're seeing in this rigged stock market. God forbid we try to do that. We're going to have to shut you down. That's manipulation. And I want you guys to let me know in the comments down below. Do you even think that this is Keith Gill behind the Roaring Kitty account these days? Or has Keith Gill, who is behind the Roaring Kitty account, right, the guy with the headband in Dumb Money, is he really still there, or has he been compromised? Has he been taken over by somebody else? I want to hear what you guys have to say about that. Now, and this is why I say that it's totally reasonable to, you know, be looking at maybe shorting some of our market, because the data is confirming that we are in a contraction. Now, they're doing a record amount of share buybacks to keep the market propped up. They're delivering a bunch of hopium on the CNBC talking head pundit radio to keep markets propped up. But the data tells us a different story that is very concerning from the XRP Ledger. Chicago manufacturing PMI plummeted in May to 35.4, the lowest reading since May of 2020. This marks the sixth straight month of manufacturing industry contraction in the Chicago area. Over the last 45 years, a reading this low has only ever occurred during a recession. As I've been saying, this is a silent recession. They've manipulated the data to make it appear as if everything's A-OK, but if you decode the data and know how to cut through their lies, you see the truth. Next key ISM manufacturing and services PMI data for May will be released this week. All eyes are on manufacturing data. So manufacturing data in contraction. New hires, contraction. Private sector jobs, contraction. The jobs numbers that we got for Q4 of 2023 was a net positive gain of 600,000. Remember, that came out from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. We covered that yesterday. And the revision was not positive 640,000 jobs. It was negative nearly 200,000. And we tallied it up. I got my sticky note from yesterday's episode. 461,000 jobs lost so far this year. So that's also in contraction. But, you know, God forbid the short sellers are calling the bluff on these overvalued companies. And now they're starting to call the bluff on Mexico. And maybe that's not the right term. Maybe they're not calling the bluff, but the market here in Mexico, the stock market, struggling today after the new president, Claudia Sheinbaum, was elected as the next president of Mexico. And we see here that their ETF, EWW, crashes 11% after as the Mexican stock market posts its worst day since 2008. So clearly the markets are not liking who was elected in Mexico. I'm not commenting on the politics down there. I'm not aware of the situation. I'm just showing you how the market is reacting, and it is not well. Now, Mexico is a country that has incredible demographics, actually has incredible resources, commodities, and they should be experiencing record growth. But I think that we're seeing just continued chaos. We saw some 30 plus assassinations in this last election cycle. I mean, it's crazy down. I'm praying for those people down there. I'll leave it at that. I'm praying for those people down there having their worst day in the stock market since 2008. It's incredible. Now, transitioning into cryptocurrency update, Jeremy Allaire from CEO of Circle says major changes coming in European digital asset markets on June 30th with the effectiveness of MiCA stablecoin regulations. Now, we've been anticipating this one for a while. It's going live on June 30th, and he is retweeting out an announcement from Binance. Now, when we move on over to this one, I don't know if that's in scale for you guys. There you go. When we look at this one, MiCA stablecoin rules implementation announcement. Basically, what they're acknowledging is that some of these coins are no longer going to be available because we're going to have regulated stablecoins. Says it right here. Several existing stablecoins may not fall into this category and will therefore be subject to certain restrictions. These will be categorized as unauthorized stablecoins. And so basically they're going through and just talking about how all their products, being able to use margin, will not be allowed. Being able to hold, being able to buy, will not be allowed for these unauthorized stablecoins. Now, they don't give a list of which stablecoins these are, but you guys can speculate. I mean, I'm going to have to dig into the MiCA rules and see if we can get a little bit of further insight on this. If this includes Tether, that's the big one, obviously, that we're going to be taking a look at, and others, right? I think the Binance has their own stablecoin too, separate from BNB. BNB is not a stablecoin. That's their exchange token. But then I think that they actually have another, I thought that there was a Binance USD or something like that as well. So I'm sure that they'll do whatever they can to come into compliance. But guys, it is happening. The stablecoin legislation is here. It's happening in the United States. They're moving slowly, doing the DC dance. But over in Europe, MiCA is set to go live here at the end of the month, and the impact is going to be felt immediately. I mean, it already is starting, where they're already going to be cutting off the unauthorized stablecoins. Now, I wanted to show you guys this from Documenting Ripple. This is where the Ripple board of directors come from, right? A lot of folks have lost sight of the fundamentals of who's actually joined this team. We got legal assassins that have been representing them on the legal battlefield. And when it comes to the team of board of directors guiding them on the higher level decisions, this is the list right here. Ripple board of directors coming from JP Morgan, Citi, Swift, HSBC, which is now partnered with Ripple because Ripple purchased Medico. Medico partnered up with HSBC to launch the tokenized gold, right? Accenture, PayPal, Prosper, Google, Yahoo, Apple, Amazon, Uber, Bloomberg, NASA, NSA, Fed, SEC. Are you paying attention yet? So sometimes it's nice to just remind ourselves of who's on our team, this all-star roster at Ripple. Now, I wanted to finish with this point here from Vet on the XRP Ledger price. The XRP Ledger daily active XRP addresses versus XRP price all time since 2012. It says between 2021 and 2022, the XRP Ledger had the most amount of activity on chain. Now, that just so happens to coincide when the price had gone up significantly, right? 2021 bull run, and when we went back up to $2. But then we also had NFTs go live, and we had a bunch of tokens created on the XRP Ledger. So during this time, right, a rising tide lifts all boats. We had way more activity on the ledger because XRP price had gone up, and we had new utilities coming in with the NFTs, and then folks, figured it out that you could launch tokens on the XRP Ledger in 5 minutes with ease. And so then we had this token frenzy. Now, in comparison, the XRP Ledger was 5 times the user activity away from ETH. So we still were a ways away from ETH, but we were close, with an ecosystem in its infancy and few builders versus a very mature and multi-billion-dollar on-chain economy, quality over quantity. And I would add, see, you could do a lot more on Ethereum versus on XRPL, but we were still closing in on their user activity, right? Despite the fact that we didn't have smart contracts, we didn't have an AMM, we didn't have all this activity or utility, right? We didn't have all this utility, but we were catching up on activity. Now that we're getting the utility with legal clarity, and now that we're going to be on a level playing field, well, you guys know how I feel about how this story goes from here. It happened because the XRP Ledger was satisfying a need for that time. If we zoom out, it's good to recognize where we come from. We have a lot ahead and housekeeping to do, no doubt. But man, you get humbled so quick in this space. Things truly can flip overnight and people show up. We went from 10,000 active addresses to 100,000 within 2 to 3 months organically. I think that we have the potential to actually 10x that, right? Going from 10,000 to 100,000, that was cute. I'm ready to see us, start going into hundreds of thousands of active addresses, millions of active addresses. Right now, we have 5 million wallets. Most of those wallets are not active, clearly. And I think that that's about to change as we get all of this utility. We got our AMM, the cross-chain bridge is coming, the decentralized identifiers are coming. We have just another amendment was considered today, XLS 69, which would allow developers to preview transactions. I mean, it's just so much development has now fired up on the XRP Ledger compared to back in 2021 when our activity was spiking, mostly driven by XRP price spiking, in my opinion, because we know we didn't have the utility. We didn't have the utility, but XRP price had gone up. And so then there was all this token creation, all this token activity, and then NFTs came along, and we were hot. And we're going to be hot once again. Okay, it's going to be an XRP summer, and I firmly believe that we will not be missing this bull run. I don't think that we missed the last bull run. It's just the expectations were for a lot higher than $2. But you look at the swings low, the swing low from 10 cents during March of 2020 all the way up to $2 during 2021, there's an opportunity to arbitrage some profits between 10 cents and $2, right? Now, did it technically miss the bull run? No. Did it miss the bull run in our expectations for the bull run? Well, probably. It missed my expectations as well. I think that we're about to see that play out, though, this bull run. Like I said, with the legal clarity and the utilities coming online, it's a beautiful setup right now in the XRP Ledger community. With that being said, we're going to, we're waiting for the flip of the switch in regards to XRP. In the meantime, we're watching them flip the switch off in this stock market, getting exposed for how rigged it is. Make sure you guys stay safe out there. If you guys are looking for our community resources, it's all available at my website, zachrector.com. And I greatly do appreciate all your support, whether you're just liking the video, sharing it out far and wide, or you do head on over using our affiliates, signing up for our private group. We would love to have you in the family. I will see you guys in the next one. God bless you all. Thank you so much. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.